Have you ever felt lost, unsure of where you truly belong? Here is the story of a young monk, Jony, and his journey to discovering the truth of life. In a quiet monastery nestled deep in the mountains, the young monk Jony felt lost. While he had always been around the monastery, he was looked after by the senior monks and caretakers. Now that he was grown up, he was supposed to be on his own. He could go out in the woods, where the older monks would go find spots that needed healing and meditate. "Come with us tomorrow morning," the master had said. Excited, Jony had woken up early and left with the group. This was his first trip to meditate and heal outside the monastery in the real world. One monk found a spot under a large banyan tree right at the start of the forest and took his place. Jony looked at the master, waiting to be told what to do, what was right. The master walked on. Jony took that as a cue and walked by his side, constantly looking up at him, trying to decipher what he was thinking, how far they would go, and whether his spot would be chosen or would have to find it alone. He could not read the master's face. No one had said they could. It always had the same expression of peace, the same smile of serenity. They walked on. One by one, the monks found their space and sat there to meditate. Jony looked up to his master. He knew he would be guided. A mile or so into the forest, only the master and Jony were left walking. Jony kept looking at the master. What was he thinking? Where was his spot? Why was he not telling him? It was his first time. He didn't know. Soon the master would find his space, and he would be as lost as he was when he started out. The master paused. Jony looked up. He knew by his look the master had chosen his spot. "Where is my spot, master?" Jony broke the silence in panic. "That's for you to find, oh dear one." The master smiled and answered Jony had expected yet dreaded. "I don't know anything. This is my first time in the forest. I was looking up to you for help all the time." Jony was on the verge of a breakdown. "You will never find your spot or your path by looking up, dear one. You will find it by looking ahead." The master smiled, sat by the river bank and closed his eyes. They had walked about 3 miles into the forest. Jony took a deep breath. For the first time, he looked ahead. Far in the distance, he saw a large boulder surrounded by lush bushes with white flowers. He smiled. He found his spot. Yes, we want guidance and validation and permissions and approvals. But if you really want to find your spot, your calling, your purpose, or your way out of a problem, you have to look ahead. Don't be so dependent on being led. You will never find your place. If they always have to tell you where to go, what to do, how to be, then you have not just found your spot, you also have lost touch with who you really are. Don't look up, look ahead. Rooting for your success